Hey, good morning. It is the Dev Talk Show on January 9th, a little before 8 a.m. on the U.S. East Coast. I'm Chris Gomez, and right beside me, this direction is my co-host, Rich Ross. How you doing this morning?
Good, Chris. How are you, sir? Been a little bit. Happy New Year's. First show we're doing together this year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you and to everybody watching, if this is the first time you've seen us at all, or this
In the
year.
first week or so, right?
Yeah. So last time we were working on an agent that will help us order fake pizza from Contoso Pizza, and it's all based on a video, the last hour of day one of Microsoft AI Dev Days, which was late in 2025. I think it was mid-December, and I really enjoyed that video. It actually helped synthesize a lot for me about what you can do in a Microsoft Foundry project, or even just in general, bringing together different bits to make an agent that's cohesive and solves a problem for you. But it was the code was written in Python, and I said, well, hey, I'm a .NET developer. What does the .NET code look like? It's not just .NET. I think, as you know, that there's a lot of Foundry bits that are the same no matter what. Mm-hmm. But now I want to go write the code the same way the presenter did. What does that look like?
Right. And it's I don't know, as a .NET developer, I feel like it's a common problem because many of the samples and many of the videos we see are Python. And I, too, want to see, well, what's that .NET experience like as a .NET developer and as a Microsoft employee? Because when I have conversations with customers, those are the things that, for me, often come up. They're not all .NET developers. We do talk to Python developers, too, and Java and all that. But want to at least have something to be able to say to the folks when we have them in the room there.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're new to the stream, so let's do a couple things here. Let's go ahead and get, I probably should have had this going, but I'm going to get the GitHub repo up that we can look at.
Okay.
The actual link to it, because of course, I already have it cloned. So for me, it's like, oh, this is a piece of cake. But what I'm going to do is add my screen here, which, like I said, I should have had it ready to go, but that's all right. So here we are. The Dev Talk Show has an agent con -pizza -workshop, which is forked from the same exact repo that was used in the video.
Nice.
And if just a quick recap, if you haven't seen any of this, the best thing to do is go watch part 1. However, stick with us right now that we're live. So everything happens in this repo. This repo is set up so that you could fork it or, and start a GitHub code space straight out of the dev container that's set up for Python. Nice. We have not done this yet, but I would like to have that dev container in our version set you up for .NET. It also has documentation, which builds a static site, which you don't necessarily need because we have a link to that site already deployed. And then what happens is in Gustavo Cordido's workshop, he and this is his, you can even see he's doing work adding to this. You open this workshop folder, which doesn't really have anything in it to start, and you start putting your code in there. That's how the workshop works.
Okay.
So I sort of followed that model, basically. And last time I said, okay, well, let's go ahead and in the workshop folder, we'll do something a little bit different than Gustavo did, because in his workshop, he runs everything from the command line, Python space, the name of the file to run, which, look, that's a very Python thing to do. That's cool. I decided that the pizza agent would run in a project a little bit more of a classic .NET way of doing things. So we started with .NET New Console. So we have a CS proj. And then I learned some things we had to do along the way. these are the packages I had to add. And then after adding these packages, and I'm not going to remember exactly which one at this point, but I think it was agents.persistent. Well, actually, no, it might have been the other way around. One of them required enable preview features to be turned on.
Yes.
And I'm going to, now it's a little bit, just because it's early in the morning and I've forgotten. One of them required that. And
I believe it was the AI project stuff.
I think it was this AI project client that required it. And otherwise it wouldn't light up. Yeah, I think that's correct. So, so how far did we get? Here, what I'm going to do real quick is show how far we got. And also, you know, one of the things that I really liked about what Gustavo did is that the documentation is standalone, set up on a static site. So I was able to just follow it along with people. We would get to code like this and I'd translate it and we would keep moving. So we created the agent and we added instructions, I believe. Maybe we haven't, I think, let's see. Let's go back and look. We might not have added instructions. That might be what's next. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what you're up to.
Yeah, we don't have any instructions in here. So let's see, just to level set real quick. I'm not going to dwell on this too long. I've opened up Visual Studio Code. There's other things I don't have a launch settings file in here so that I don't have to go through the run and debug. There is some extraneous Python stuff in our, well, we have a settings.json. Maybe I'm going to throw this out eventually. And it's not because we don't like Python here. It's that I want a C#.NET version of this.
Right. We talk about feature parity for these things, right? Because if you come in, whatever your developer skill set is, you want to make sure we're able to do those things.
Yeah. Yep. So here we go. So when I run to level set our current state, an agent is going to be created, and that agent, am I saying this correctly? It's part of the project in Microsoft Foundry. I mean, I have my TDTS Pizza Bot project that is currently the my mic just a little bit. So when you're in Foundry, this is kind of telling you here's the project you're in. So I can click here and switch. I'm not going to, but I could. And then it seems that if you want to kind of look through the project, you come over to build for the most part. So I click build, and I actually haven't discussed this yet. Let's run the agent first. So we're doing everything in the VS Code console. Another thing I'd kind of like to do is set up some launch settings to launch this console externally. I don't dislike this experience. This is okay. But it kind of gets interrupted here where it says like, hey, you know, you can go ahead and interact with this console just as if it was standard input. That's fine. You type here. The experience is supposed to be that it puts you as a prompt for you to type. And then when the agent responds, it puts agent. Yeah. But I mean, this is okay. This isn't horrible. So if I say, hello, how are you today, agent? You know, I'm going to get something back here. Our code goes ahead and it adds the message to a thread that we are building as we work here. And whenever a run completes, the last answer we get back, maybe we're making a poor assumption, but for right now, the very last message in the thread, when the agent finishes a run, we just basically grab it, assume it must be from the agent. It's what the Python code does too, but maybe we'll figure out how to make this more robust. So I'm going to ask it this question because it'll set what we're doing today. This agent has no instructions. This agent it's not grounded in any knowledge. It's just really, I think I'm correct in saying this, it's just based on GPT-4o, the end.
Yeah.
So,
and
go please.
Every model has information it was trained with. So essentially, if you were to ask it a question here, it would respond with information it is aware of. And and I think you kind of did this last time when you asked it about, you know, the United States or the Contoso Pizza Shop or what have you. It kind of knew about Contoso as this fictitious company that Microsoft uses. Right. So that's what it's aware of. Now, that's great, but we want it to provide answers based on our information. So we have to do that through the prompt and the instructions that we create along the way.
Right. So for example, I'm going to assume GPT-4o was trained on knowledge that includes some early American history. You know,
Mhm.
there's always been this thing with these models of when were they trained. So if you ask it about last week's football game, it's like, I don't know.
Right.
But so when was the United States founded? And I get an answer. But if I say, what can you tell me about Contoso Pizza? And this is how I ended last time, right? And I'm not sure what we're going to get because it's non-deterministic, which is weird. So Contoso is a fictional company often used by Microsoft in their training materials. I love it. I love it. So, and the reason I love that answer is it shows that we're using GPT-4o, but that's all we're using.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is one of the, I mean, 4 has been out for a little while, but it is still one of the good models to kind of start out with and see if it fits all your needs.
Yeah. So what we've got is we've got a loop, a console loop where we can ask questions, get answers, and converse with it. But this agent, it doesn't have any knowledge or instructions. So we have a choice. We can do both of those things today. We can add instructions to the agent, and we can add knowledge. So once again, my whole goal here has been let's follow along with what the demo did, except we will translate it along the way. This turns out to be pretty easy, in my opinion. You can pass an instructions pattern, and this looks pretty straightforward. And when you create the agent, you supply instructions. So let's go. I'm going to go take a look and see. You know, I've been using this C# feature quite a bit in my code for this project to name the parameters, because you can see create agent has a lot of parameters. So I just name them, right?
No, that makes sense.
And, you know, I appreciate that GitHub Copilot's picking up on the pizza ordering. But let's copy this in real quick.
Okay. I will do that. Be right back.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So I can just supply instructions as a string, right? And I'm able to run the agent directly. And then I would get an agent that is a helpful support assistant for Microsoft Foundry. But, you know, that's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for an agent with some instructions on how to be this pizza agent. So it turns out that in the workshop, now just because my brain is asleep, I want to know where this is. The instructions, are they just sitting here in instructions.txt, or did maybe we create a file and copy them in? Why don't I go to the demo instructions? Using an external instructions file. Yes, look it only said to do this. Create a file called instructions.txt in the workshop folder. Okay, so let's do that. I can use Visual Studio tools. I could be really cool. Oh, actually, let me quit this agent here. So people might have noticed, in fact, I already did. It looks like I exited the agent without doing the quit or exit. And I'll take a quick detour here, real quick. I have a finally block that deletes the agent, but I've been bypassing it by hitting the stop button or something. So that means there are agents sitting in the Foundry project that are not getting deleted. However, they're not here. Like, where are they? Right? So it turns out the code we're using, which is mirroring the code in the Python project using the persistent agents package, is creating classic agents. And here they are. Here are some of the leftover agents that I have created, including, is today the 9th? Yeah. Yep. Including the one I created just now, because I did not exit the app and allow the finally block to run. So here they are. And I think this is important. We're going to come back to it, because I've talked a lot about how part of my purpose here is not just first translate the code, then modernize it. I think we will look into how we get the new agents in the new Foundry as well.
Yeah. And it even looked like from those agents there at the end, there was a button that says save it as a new agent.
Oh,
So
right.
you could just basically convert it.
I could. And I actually think what's going to be nice is I think we could explore that. What's it like to use it and do it in the Foundry? What's it like to do it in code?
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe it was for expedience and to keep the demo moving that Gustavo just has the code do it.
Right.
When I watch a lot or look at a lot of documentation, I feel like the workflow that often shows up in documentation and presentations is, hey, go create all this stuff in the Foundry portal and then use it. And I'm not at the point yet where I personally kind of know what I like. I mean, I like automation.
Right.
I like infrastructure as code. So even Foundry is code. I like the idea, but I'm not yet at the point where I say I absolutely believe we should all do something one way or another. We're still learning here.
Yeah, and and this is all preview, and I think this is why there's many different options, and because of that and being preview, it's also the good chance to give the feedback. Right, what's working for you? What works with the flow that you're doing?
Right. So I'm going to create that instructions MD doc, and it's really giving some step-by-step details, talking about how Contoso Pizza has stores in multiple locations, and tell the agent to ask clarifying questions. And then this one is going to be interesting here, is start with requesting a username and ID. There's some other interesting stuff here too that I think is pretty cool, but we'll see it all. We'll see it all come into place. So let's add the instructions. All right. I save it. And now the thing is this is a file. This is not just a simple string like before.
Yeah.
Okay. But what this method wants, this create agent method, is it wants a string. So, this isn't that hard for a .NET developer. We're just going to read the instructions out from the file. Why don't we just use read all text? This is a simple way of doing it. And grab instructions.txt. Now, I called it instructions.md. Right? Yeah, you're right. What was I supposed to do here? I think I messed up because I want to do what it says. Let's call it instructions.txt. So, okay. That's easy. Let's go back and rename this text file. There you go. Read instructions.txt. And then instead of passing the string directly, just literally, we'll do something very similar because this is all kind of hard coded in here right now anyway. And we will pass these instructions. Okay. So now, just simply doing that really isn't a whole lot. I'm going to double check that there's nothing else in here. Modify the agent code. We did that, except now when the agent code is modified, 2 new values are added. And there isn't a ton of explanation. I mean, maybe this is the explanation, right? Top P and temperature parameters give you control over creativity and randomness. Is there anything we should say about these and that they're set to 0.7?
So while that's a general statement around the randomness, right?
Yeah.
For temperature, it's a range from 0 to 1, and 0 is, hey, don't be that creative, right? Just stick to the facts. And facts is the wrong term because these aren't fact engines; they're word engines. So don't be creative when you try and figure out what the next word is. And then 1 is, hey, it's like creativity story time. Go ahead and start to bring other thoughts and facts into it, right? So it's much like your float for the gravity when we were doing the game. You got to kind of play around with this and see what feels right. Something like this, where we don't want it to be overly creative, a 0.2 might be a good place to start.
Okay.
Right, because at a 0.8, you're kind of at the creative side of things. So we want to make sure it sticks to information that is being shared with it, but not, you kind of want to let it, you want to give it a personality, right? You don't want it just to be returning the information off the text. The other thing is, if you change those, and top P has a very similar kind of effect, and I was actually just trying to look that up because I always forget what the top P is. It's called nucleus sampling. To improve the generation of text, works by selecting the smallest subset of tokens with a cumulative property exceeds a specified threshold, right? So that's, you can, it's also meant to help with the randomness, but what the one guidance I always get is, don't change them both at the same time. Change one, see how it works, and then if you feel you need to, change the other. I'll do a little more background on top P because I'm not sure what the 0 to the upper limit is on that and what those relate. But temperature is what 90% of the time, temperature is what I usually start out with and play around with, and that gives us enough.
Okay. So just to keep up with what the demo does, we've added the same things. I don't know now if we're going to get, well, let's see let's see how it changes. First of all, it says to ask for that. The one instruction that I noted was, ask for a user ID and name. Okay, so we didn't find, oh, yes, that's right. This is good. I'm glad this has happened because here we are as .NET developers with an instructions.txt file, okay? If you're following along and doing the Python version of this and you say, well, wait a second, why is this file not found? I see the file in your project. And it's because in the context of Python, you say Python at the command line, Python space, the name of the file you're running, agent.py. But instructions is sitting in the same folder, and the context of that run is happening in that folder, your source code folder.
Mm-hmm.
But as a .NET developer, we build the project, and that output goes to a bin folder, specifically a little bit deeper, debug, .NET 10, and it's saying, wait a second, this isn't there. And that's true. It's not there. It's sitting here. And because it's not, it doesn't know that instructions.txt is something it's content that we need in our output, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do there is we are going to go to our csproj file. And again, if longtime Visual Studio users may look at this and say, oh yeah, I go to properties for the instructions.txt and I add this thing and now it gets copied to the output. In this modern world where we have a .NET that works cross-platform, we need the way to do that that's not IDE centric. So what we do is we go to our csproj file and we create a little item group here. And we say that instructions.txt is content that when it's updated, let's put the newest one in the output directory.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah, go ahead.
Even though you might set a property in Visual Studio,
right?
That's really what it's doing under the covers, right? It's changing that project file to include that line, right? So
yes,
it's not magic that happens there.
It's not magic. That's right. Now, no, I appreciate you saying that, especially because, I go back a lot of years with Visual Studio to when a lot of things were more magic based, or they were something so cryptic in a solution file or csproj file, even if it was there, that you didn't know what was going on anyways. We don't really live in that world anymore. So let me go to workshop. Let me go to pizza agent, bin folder, the debug, the .NET 10. We don't have instructions in here right now. Now that I've saved the csproj, and let me hope that really is the last thing we have to do. That would be nice. I'm glad that I stumbled upon it. I knew about it. Okay, so that still didn't. Let me think. I ran it, but I think I might need to build it. So let me open the command palette. And I'm just going to go ahead and let .NET's rebuild command go. And yes, I want the pizza agent rebuilt. And here's the project. I just want to see that pop up in here. Oh, wait. Did it do it? Did it build it? It said build succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. still not seeing instructions in here. Okay, what have I missed out on here? CS proj, copy to the output folder. And let me
instructions inside of the pizza agent folder. If you close pizza agent.
Yes. You're right. It's that instructions is sitting in the workshop folder, not in the pizza agent folder. So I could pick one or the other to fix here, but I think that we'll move it into pizza agent. That probably makes more sense for a .NET developer anyway. So now I'm not 100% sure I have to do this rebuild step, but let's do it anyway. I mean, I just want to make sure the project gets built.
Yeah.
And once it's built, here we go. Here it is.
Cool.
So thank you for that catch.
Yeah, no worries.
And let's run it. Because now what I expect is I still don't know a whole lot about Contoso Pizza, but I should be following instructions.
Yes.
So I'm just going to type a quick question here. Can you help me order pizza? How do I get started? And let's just see what we get for a response. And our response is, absolutely, I'd be happy to help you order pizza. And just as it was instructed, can you please provide your user ID and name? So that's cool. That's what we want. What is that user ID and name, right?
Yeah.
So
what am I signing into?
Yeah, what are you signing into? So this, I'm not 100% sure if this talks about it until much later.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So all the way in chapter 6, Gustavo talks about in order to place an order, there is a site already set up to register yourself, quote unquote. Okay. This doesn't do anything more than give you a GUID. That's it. And then there is an order dashboard that when you place an order in the MCP server and all that helps you contact a backend server to place your pizza order, there is a dashboard that follows the status. So it feels like you're actually accomplishing something.
Okay.
We don't need this quite yet.
Right.
So, but what is important is to note that our agent has an instruction telling it, make sure you get this before you do anything else.
Yep.
So I feel like instructions is working, but I wouldn't be able to ask this agent anything about the stores and the data in all of these stores, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I've examined any of these stores very closely yet.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Contoso Pizza Chicago. This is just a markdown file that has a description of the location. The description itself has some information like, hey, here are some highlighted pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
And tells us the address, tells us when it's open, and some contact information.
Yep. Because it's a document, and there's not really a schema associated with it, although you can kind of infer one from the description, address, opening hours, right? We call this an unstructured content or an unstructured document, as opposed to structured content like you might have in a database. And there's different patterns for looking at and indexing and doing all of those things together. So one of the things early on that always tripped me out, well, what's the unstructured stuff? It's documents, it's images, it's things of that nature that you can give to LLM as part of the grounding process, and it uses that to help with the answers. So
okay, well, we don't have this knowledge. Our agent doesn't know anything about this yet.
Right.
And if I go back to Foundry and I go to knowledge, which I don't see anything here, and if I go to data, the file section is totally blank, right? Like there's just nothing in the Foundry project.
Okay.
So the next thing Gustavo does is the next chapter is adding knowledge with file search. So He writes a script that takes those documents in that folder and uses the SDK to upload them to the Foundry project.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a script you just run one time.
Right.
It uploads the files, then it creates a vector store, and then it vectorizes the files into the store. And so I felt, since this is a one-time thing, this seemed like a good candidate for the new .NET Run ability.
Oh, nice.
To what do I need a project for?
Right.
Let's just write the script and go.
Cool.
So let's do that, and we should be able to do that with the time we have remaining.
Okay.
I chose to get out of the Pizza Agent folder because I don't want to confuse Visual Studio by having another top. Well, this is confuse Visual Studio and C# and the compiler and everything by having another file that would qualify as a top level statements file.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, let's go back to the workshop folder at the top here and let's add a folder. And I'm going to call this folder knowledge. So, we're diverging a little bit here, but we're getting to what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to call, let's see, what did he call his script? Called his script add data, add_data.py. So I'm just going to call it add data. I'm going to leave the underscore out. Everybody can argue in the comments over whether we should or should not. But this is just a blank file at this point, and I'm going to use this new feature of top-level statements. So it's going to start very similar to Let's see, what did we do over in Pizza Agent? Okay, so I'm still doing this. This is still a literal. This hasn't been shelled out to an environment variable or anything yet.
Yeah.
But I'm going to need all of this. I'm going to need this starting point here.
Okay.
So let me grab it. And here we go. I have my using files. I have my Foundry project client.
Yeah.
Persistent agents client. It's all here.
Cool.
Now, the problem is when I just hit Control S to save, and what I'm expecting, and if it doesn't do it, then we're just going to move forward, is I'm expecting it to light up with pain saying, I'm sorry, I can't do any of this. But I was waiting for it to do that, but it didn't. So let me just come out to the terminal. Oh, I see. Interesting. It wants to relaunch the terminal. Okay. That's fine. Okay. I need to go to workshop, and I need to go to knowledge, one level below that. And I want a .NET run add data, and it's going to blow up.
Because
I don't have any. So it says I couldn't even bother. Like I couldn't do this. I couldn't use.
Oh, because yes.
Right. In our C# project, we have package references.
Right.
But if you're totally brand new to this .NET run command that lets you run a single file in a script-like way, now you feel stuck, right? What do I do? So it turns out that we have syntax now that lets us add a package, and we are just going to add in.
So it's
agent.
It's
go ahead.
Code.
Right.
Okay, hang on. Does it? I can't remember if we do this in. What is it? It's the hold down the Alt and the Shift.
Oh.
Right. So you could basically across the usings, you would hold down, like it go to the beginning and then Alt Shift and then basically, yeah. So you could replace it once and basically it writes it out across all three lines. I know it was a Visual Studio thing. I didn't know I thought they added it to code.
Well, I don't have to actually replace anything here. What I'm doing is I'm declaring that you're going to import this package from NuGet.
Yes.
And then we still will need the using after that.
Oh, my fault. In my mind, I translated the usings to packages. Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
not enough coffee.
No. We're okay. So we're seeing that things are starting to complain about
Yep.
stuff, which is fine. So I've added the persistent package, and then we're going to add in the AI projects package. And I found when I was doing this on my own that when I hit save, something kind of squirreled in here and took a look at it. And yes, okay, so it did it. And see, now everything's lighting up.
Yep.
Is it saying, okay, this is fine, but oh, something's still not fine. And the problem is AI project client requires opting into preview features.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember this now. This was adding this thing here. So I guess I'm stuck again because I don't have a project file. How can I possibly add a property to a single script? Now, of course, you know that I'm teasing a little bit because we can do that.
Right.
We can say property just like this, and I want it to be enable preview features. And so this was interesting. If you go and find the original blog post from Damian Edwards announcing this feature back in .NET Preview 4, I think, for .NET 10.
Okay.
This is how you added the property. And when that didn't work, I got a little confused. And then I found that for the release, the equal sign got added to this syntax.
Okay.
So, little tip for folks who maybe you watch this, you go stumble upon some early blog posts and you say, why isn't this working? So you say enable features and look at it, the squiggly went away.
Nice. That's
so
awesome.
We're on our way, right? We can get, now this isn't going to be too exciting if I run it, so we're going to keep going.
I agree.
We know that this documents folder, in our case, is we have to back out of knowledge to get to documents. So what we're going to do very quickly is we're going to declare that the folder path for this is sitting in documents. And if it's not found, which, originally I goofed. I didn't goof. I followed the tutorial. The tutorial says, hey, use the documents folder that's sitting right in workshop, right?
Right.
And then if it's not found, let's have a nice error message. And if it is found, then let's upload the files. Well, we're on this step right now where we're determining if it's not found.
Okay.
So this didn't work for me. And it was like, oh, duh, because I took my script and I put it a folder deeper. So I actually have to back out one.
Okay.
So
Do
what
you
happens?
have to swap the forward versus backslash?
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't. Yeah, you don't have to. So let's just real quick, let's run it because this should surface this error. And I'll give a real quick reason why I'm showing it here. See how I got the error message on 2 lines? I'm using a fairly new feature of .NET called raw string literals, where by putting 3, and it's not so much that it's 3, it's an equal amount of double quotes that's more than, I want to say it's more than 1. I think it can be 2, but if not, it could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 6. You just have to use the same amount for the beginning and end.
Wow.
Now I can write my literal out more literally instead of putting like a /n or something. I can also, if I put a $, I get to take advantage of interpolated strings.
Oh, that's
now
cool.
You might ask yourself, what's the deal with the doubles and triples thingy? The reason why that exists is because what if I wanted to have a quote in my literal string?
Yep.
This would blow up, except for the fact that the triple quotes is it's telling C#, triple quotes is my bounding for the string. So if you see something other than triple quotes, it's literal.
Okay.
So I'm able to do this, and this is still literal.
Yeah.
But once I do this, it gets confused.
Yep.
So if you said to yourself, oh, I've got to have triple quotes in my literal, maybe you do. Well, then you'd better differentiate it a different way.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just a little tip for how to use string literals. And then, of course,
now you're
yeah, I thought I didn't think, am I wrong about that? I don't think I'm wrong about that. Oh no, I had 4. I had four of each. It's good. So I'll leave it. What if you need a dollar sign? If you need a dollar sign in here, if you want this to, it's going to blow up again because of the interpolated string stuff, right?
Yeah.
At least I thought it was going to. It turns out that you can also double or triple these for the same reason.
Oh, wow.
And then there's even one more thing. There's documentation on how you work with interpolated strings in a different way, because what if I need the brackets in my literal?
Yeah.
So all of those situations are covered.
Okay.
Let's not worry about that too much. Yeah. Let's not worry about, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of a tip on raw literals. Now, what I decided to do after that is, once I got my list of directory files, I decided to go ahead and save that list off into a list. And there's a specific reason I chose a list and not a string array.
Mm-hmm.
We go through that list of files. And what we do is we get the file name out, and then we use the agent client's upload file method with the file path. And we say that the file's purpose is for an agent, as it's an input to the agent. And then here's a little bit of C# goodness where we say, oh no, actually that C# goodness is not, is it here? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Where I basically say, take the uploaded file ID IEnumerable and add using the file info ID. And that's it. Nothing special going on there, really. Okay. So now that we've done that, there's not much more to do here. We're going to have a little console that says the file upload's complete. And we'll talk about what this does while it's working, because this takes a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get it going. It doesn't take long, but I'm going to go ahead and get it going. So that file saved. We're going to run .NET run add data. And oh, that's because I didn't change this back. Okay. Solve that problem. So we are using the .NET run add data CS feature. It is compiled this for us, and it's on its way. It's uploading the Contoso Pizza files.
Nice.
So this particular bit of code here, creating the vector store, we're going to find out if I've made a mistake here in future episodes. But when we follow what Gustavo did, he creates the vector store, but he leaves the data sources blank. He just creates it blank. And then vectorizes the files into a vector store file batch and supplies the file IDs later.
Okay.
When I was working through the C# SDK, file IDs was it's a parameter in creating the vector store, and it takes an IEnumerable of the very same file IDs, and it even says that it's useful for file search. So I decided to do it all in one, not being sure if I'm making a mistake by not creating a vector store batch. I think I'm okay, and I'll show you why I think that.
Okay.
If we go to Foundry, these files are coming in.
Nice.
That's good. And then I also think, where do I go? I think if I go to knowledge, go to indexes. Oh, no, I haven't created the vector store yet.
Yeah.
But if I go to a previous project that I did, this project was done following this was done with the Python code, following the instructions letter by letter, like everything exactly.
Yeah.
Here, I have in indexes, I have this index of Contoso Pizza store information of type managed Azure search. And it's what we're going to end up with in just a second in our project that we're using to do this with .NET code.
Okay.
So that made me feel like I think I'm okay, but let's go see how we've done here. We're just about there. File upload complete.
And now to do the vectors, right?
Now it's going to create the vector store, created the vector store with an ID. This ID is actually pretty useful, pretty important. So I'm going to grab it and just for the moment, just going to store it here. I'll get rid of it in a second. because we want to come here, refresh this, and I did do the pizza bot project, right? I'm going to double check. So we've got our files are in here from where I expected. I wonder, does this just take a second to come through and maybe I didn't notice?
It's going to take some time for that index to get created.
Okay.
But you have a hook to it,
right.
But the actual content of it is still being built. And until that's done, I'm pretty sure it won't show up in there.
Okay. No, that's fair. I just remember it didn't really seem to take that long.
Yeah.
Oh, we have more work to do anyway, which shouldn't take too long.
Yeah. Just one quick note. What you're doing here with code.
Yes.
Is the same thing we did a few weeks ago when we uploaded the transcripts into Blob Store and then pointed and created an index off of that. You're just doing that all through code.
Right. So I think it kind of points to the fact that this could kind of all be built either in Foundry or with various methods.
Yeah.
You could use blob storage. You could use whatever.
Exactly.
I just think that, and maybe that's a place that we go, like when we kind of modernize the demo. I just think the demo was like, look, it's all here. Everything works. The last thing to do here, which shouldn't take us too long, is so we've uploaded the data. We've created a vector store. We know that's in progress. Maybe the thing is I went off to do this, and so that's why I didn't notice. Now our agent doesn't have any way to use that. So we're going to add a file search tool to the agent, and then that'll be everything. So in order to do that, we need to teach our agent about, let's see, get the vector store, because there's going to be a vector store that's created. In fact, we already have the vector store ID sitting there. And I'm just going to grab that little bit of code. And it's saying, well, what's the vector store ID? Okay, fine. Let's go vector. Let's go var vector store ID. And it's, look at that. Look how it picked it up out of here. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that it inferred that. So I don't need this anymore. Back in here. Okay. So we've gotten the vector store, but we haven't done much with it yet. We're going to create a file search tool resource.
Okay.
That's fine. I don't know if that's the most useful comment I've ever written. And what you do is you create a file search tool resource. You tell it that the file search tool, it relies on a vector store, and here it is. You can add many, many more things here, but that's all we're going to do for now. Then what we do is we go down to our agent, and we have yet another thing we're going to add. We're going to add a tool, and the tool is a list. I think it's even kind of figuring it out here almost. It's not totally quite right, but it's saying we want a new list of, what I really want is a list of tool definitions.
Okay.
And I'm not going to need this because of modern C#. And we don't have anything special. Maybe this is part of the problem, but I think I'm right about this. I could be wrong. Our file search tool definition, like, we just need a file search tool. So I didn't need to create one ahead of time and set it up, because there was nothing to set up.
Right.
I do want to tell it that the tool, I'm saying, like, use a file search tool.
Okay.
And then it's going to look in its resources to figure out that the file search tool has resources that we declared a little bit up above. That changed on me. Yeah, you're right. We declared it up above. We said that we declared a file search tool resource instance to basically say, here's the vector store ID that you need. So what it's going to do, it's going to come along, it's going to create a file search tool. We didn't really define anything here. It's just a new instance of a file search tool. And then it looks in its resources and says, oh, the file search tool has a resource of, and it even says right there, resources to be used by the file search tool consisting of vector store IDs.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm pretty sure about that. That's completely it. You double check Gustavo's code. Does something similar, creates the tools, creates the file search tool with a list of vector store IDs, except he only has one, adds it to a tool set instance that they have in Python, and then adds the tool set. So it's a slightly different syntax.
Okay.
And then run the agent and you're good. So let's go. I mean, this should be here by now, right? Yep. Here we go. You were right. Contoso Pizza Store information is ready.
Yeah.
Here's that vector store ID for us. And it even tells us, like, I can see what files are included. So that's kind of neat. And again, we are using the new Foundry, and that's a little bit on purpose. If you do this in following the demo, you use the classic Foundry, but it's a very similar experience as far as I'm seeing. All right. So to finish things off, we're going to talk to our agent that now should be grounded with some knowledge. It keeps telling us, I don't know anything about Contoso Pizza.
Let's see if that's still the case.
Right. Now, I think it's going to ask me for that user ID first,
Okay.
and it might be very insistent. Hi, can you help me with ordering pizza? How many Contoso pizza stores are there in the world? Let's see if it answers at least. Okay. Contoso Pizza has stores in several locations around the world, and it just starts listing them off. I think those are the 20. The other thing that I'm finding that I'm not sure how to eliminate yet, but I figured I'd leave it in so we can learn together, is it's kind of telling me where it got the information from. There could be a little bit of a twist that I do on this where I'm pulling messages out.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something there that I need to do, because I don't recall this in the Python demo. I don't recall it doing that. So let me do something real quick and say, like, I live near Philadelphia. Where is the closest Contoso Pizza? So now I'm kind of mixing a few things. I'm stuff that's not in our file search, right? Like where I live. And so and stuff that is in there. So it says, hey, the store in New York might be relatively close. Here's the address.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting a lot of really interesting stuff. How many Contoso pizza stores have outdoor patio seating? Which ones have this? I guess. I don't know. Not the greatest sentence I've ever written, but you know, we're asking for the large language model to pick up for me. So look at this. Uganda has a garden patio. San Francisco has a pet-friendly patio. But you know what I love about this is this wasn't structured data, like you pointed out.
Yeah.
It's figuring it out by reading through these files and saying, well, their descriptions talked about an open-air patio. To order.
Which is directly what you asked for, right? You asked for outdoor seating.
Sure. Yeah, right. And it still inferred it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to order a specialty pizza from the Washington, D.C. store. Again, there's nothing in our data that says specialty pizzas or anything like that. So at the Washington, D.C. store, you can enjoy the Capitol Hill pepperoni pie and the Chesapeake Bay crab pizza.
Yeah. Even though
this is when it got exciting to me. I'm to be honest.
No, I think it's awesome. This is you've seen how you've gone from just taking a model to have a conversation with about anything and have it really specifically get to the, you know, have it being very knowledgeable around this one particular topic. In the past, people will come in and say, hey, I want you to train my model to do this. And like, you don't necessarily need to do that. There are cases where you do, but in a case like this, we can get away a lot with just basically having documents and vectorized and be able to search them.
Right, right. So here's where we've gotten to today. We have continued with the demo that is related to the AI Dev Days piece on building a pizza ordering agent with Microsoft Foundry, an MCP server, which we haven't gotten to yet, and Python. We have, in the first episode of this, we created the agent. In this episode, we added the instructions and added knowledge. Look, to this point, we've put about 2.5 times of the minutes and seconds that Gustavo did. But now, and I'm being totally fair to him here, is that he had an hour time limit, flew through a lot of stuff. And I would say that I think that we have taken the time to like really drill in to what's happening in Foundry, what's happening in the agent, asking more questions, watching the agent go from like, I don't know, Contoso, yeah, sure, that's a Microsoft fictitious brand, to no, I'm ready to help you. Right. So we have a couple people who joined us live today. Thank you so much for these comments. I hope you're enjoying it. We have more to do here. Okay. So the series is going to continue. We still have to integrate the MCP server so that we can actually order a pizza. Yeah. And this particular project, when you quote unquote order a pizza, it uses an MCP server, which this dashboard picks up. You actually watch your pizza being made, but really what's happening is the MCP server tool has been called to place an order, and then this kicks into action. We're not seeing this yet. And we also aren't seeing the little registration for this, which is fine. The demo that they did for Dev Days, I'm going to go ahead and quit out of this. So I'm just going to type quit because our code here recognizes that. It uses those two websites. I would eventually like for us to also have the MCP server written in .NET.
Yes. And
the two websites built with .NET tooling. That the whole thing could just be .NET.
I think so. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah. I am not going to do this live, but don't forget that, let's see, the GitHub repo. What I was not going to do live was, here it is. Sorry, I went off a different screen. Is this, the work we did today will be pushed here. All of our work is on the C#version branch. So you're going to see another commit for today's work. And then that commit is going to get put into the YouTube show notes available later. So yes, here's the question. The source code's available. That's the answer, is that yes, if you go to, and let me go ahead and paste this in. This is not on the main branch yet. Not on the main branch. We've got a pull request to create. We've got work to do. But on the C#version branch, this is a fork of the AgentCon Pizza Workshop. So we are following that workshop along for now. I have a commit that takes us through what we did last time. I have to commit, and I will do it when the show is over, for what we did today. And eventually we'll pull request this into main and go from there. So, this is moving along. I want to have a dev container so that we can do this with a .NET container instead of the Python stuff that's in here. Yeah. And slowly turn this, this is getting turned into a .NET repo.
Yeah. So this would be cool. There's a lot of fun stuff to do here yet. So we've got some work ahead of us.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still work to do.
But I think it's good because the things you're mentioning are the things that kind of bring it home for a .NET developer and infusing AI into your .NET application. So there's a lot of good stuff to pull from this. So.
Yeah, we're almost there. The last 2 bits in the demo is you create an MCP. Well, you create a function tool, which is basically your own code that you give to an agent to teach it something. In this case, what we're going to teach it is the ability to say, I need pizzas for 8 people. How many should I get? And it uses this calculator function to basically say, instead of just guessing, which you could do, the large language model could just guess.
Yeah.
But instead you could say, I've taught you how to do this, which could be really valuable for specific applications. Maybe I'm building something for an automobile and I can have a function tool tell me, maybe it looks up. I don't know what it does, but it figures out exactly how much motor oil you need instead of trying to figure it out as a large language model. I know how to do that. Here you go, agent. Solve the problem with that.
Right.
The last bit is hooking up to the MCP server, the Model Context Protocol tool, to order pizza.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
hey, thank you to those of you who joined us live and added comments. That's awesome. Don't forget to hit like on the video. And if you have more questions or anything you want to say about this, or if you are looking at our code and saying, hey, I've done this before, I think you'd be happier if you did X, Y, or Z or something different, leave that for us in the comments below. We're definitely learning from you as well. But that's it for today, Rich. So if we are good.
Yeah. Awesome work. Put a lot of work to get us to here. So this is great.
Yep, we're getting there. We'll see you all next week, and we're continuing along with this. Thank you for being patient, as this is not going. It's a series, but
Right.
we're going to have there's a playlist that you can follow at the Dev Talk Show. So youtube.com/the Dev Talk Show. For Rich, I'm Chris. We'll see you all next time on the Dev Talk Show.